couple weeks ago, President Donald Trump announced we are going to get a UFC fight at the White House. Now, this fight is not going to happen right now. It's going to happen on July 4th, 2026. So we have to wait a whole entire year. So right now, Dana can't really make any matchups because it's a year away. So I am now put in charge of making this White House card. Anyway, so this is what I would do if I was in charge of the White House card. All right, here's what we put together. Don't really know what I did here. I was really bored last night. So anyway, here is my UFC White House main card. Let's go. First fight, give me Ian Gary versus Sean Brady. I think this would be a great matchup. First off, both these guys won their last fight, and it was in very impressive fashion. But I think, Sean Brady, obviously, he just beat Leon to become the number one contender. Now, technically, he's not the number one contender anymore. It's Bilal, but Sean Brady doesn't really deserve to get a title shot right now. There's so many guys in line. Islam, Shavkat, I don't really think he can get it right now. I think he should fight again. And I think the perfect guy is Ian Gary because, Ian Gary, he got a big shot against Shavkat, and obviously he lost. But, he redeemed himself definitely against Carlos Prates. I think that was a great fight, and I think now that he redeemed himself, I think that should get him back to where he was before the Shavkat fight, getting into that early top 10, top 5 area. So I think this would be a perfect matchup for both fighters. Also, these guys have beef. Sean Brady really wants to fight Ian, and Ian kind of just wants Sean Brady to stop talking about him. But I think this would be a really great fight. I really like Sean Brady. Not just because he's American, just because I don't really like Ian Gary, but wrestler versus striker matchup. Hopefully, if this fight ever happens, Ian Gary hopefully can improve his wrestling a little bit. He had pretty good wrestling that MVP fight, the UFC 303, but that was MVP, who was a striker. So I don't know. It could be a really tough fight for Ian Gary, but then again, it could be a really bad fight for Sean Brady. Sean Brady got pieced up by Bilal, so I would love to see this fight. I think it would really be a good stylistic matchup, and I think it makes perfect sense for this White House card. Now, on to the next one. Everybody saw this guy coming. Obviously, you gotta put Colby Chaos Covington in this card. Obviously, he's got Trump behind him because he's the biggest Trump glazer ever. But I think Kevin Holland versus Colby Covington has to happen. Obviously, Colby has to be on the card. You can put him against anybody, really. Any bum welterweight you could put him against, but you gotta put him against somebody because he's gonna fight on this card. But I think this is perfect. Obviously, Kevin Holland called out Colby in his fight after UFC 316. And I think there's a reason he did that. It's because both of them are older. Both of them will never become champion. And don't really care about becoming champion anyway. But especially Kevin Holland, he really doesn't care about being champion. But, they're both never going to be champion, So I think for kind of like a legacy fight, I think they could really put this together. Also, the press conference would actually be legendary against these two big trash talkers. And I think it'd be a good fight, but I think Colby would definitely win just because he's a better wrestler. I think he would just dominate him wrestling, but you never know. Kevin Holland is pretty freaking crazy. I feel like he might be able to pull off something weird, but I think this would be a perfect fight for this card. Again, you got to put Colby against somebody. You can't not put Colby on this card. Yeah, Colby versus Kevin Holland. Perfect fight for this card. I really like it. And next one we got, what even is next? I don't even remember. We got Sean Strickland versus Izzy. This is a perfect fight. First of all, Izzy called out Sean Strickland. He really wants that Sean Strickland fight back. After his loss against Imavov, he keeps talking about it. He really wants that Sean Strickland fight back. They fought back, I think it was UFC 293. They fought, and Izzy obviously lost, and Sean Strickland beat Izzy. Crazy upset, one of the biggest upsets ever by unanimous decision. It was just domination. But I really know Izzy wants that back, and I think, he has a chance to beat Sean again. It's not impossible, but is Izzy that much out of his prime? It's hard to see because in that Imavov fight, we barely got to see him. It was like 2 rounds. So, but then again, Sean Strickland did not look good in his last fight either. He wasn't putting any pressure on Dreykus. He had no output. He was just taking all the shots in. So, I don't know. I think this would be a closer fight than some people think. But then again, Sean Strickland did fight Dreykus, so Dreykus is really great. And Sean looked good against Paulo Costa in his last fight before that. So, I don't know. I think this would be a closer fight than people think. But the reason I think it's a perfect fight for the White House card is because, obviously, Sean Strickland's super American. Everyone likes Sean. Not everyone likes Sean Strickland, but everyone knows, when they think of American UFC fighters, they think of Sean Strickland. Not just Sean Strickland, but he's up there. So I think you gotta put him on the card. But I mean, then again, he is kind of a liability if he says something crazy in Washington in front of the president. I don't know. You don't want to say anything crazy.
You guys are a bunch of vicious bastards. Man, hearing the way you guys talk, I want to go down there and punch all you fuckers in the face.
But I mean, I think he might behave because of the situation he's in.
Oh, wow. Whoa, shit. Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I was making this, but he is not going to behave. But I think this would be a good fight for the White House. I really like it. Also, both of them probably never going to become champion again. I know I feel like I keep saying that, but I mean, they're probably not going to be champion. But, also, I mean, the rematch, it would be such big hype for this card. And especially it's so early on to the main card. I mean, people are going to watch. Like, this is going to be such a big card. That's what I'm saying. Like, people are going to love this card. Like, it's going to be one of the biggest cards ever. Especially fights like this are going to be early onto the main card. I just hope they don't do it like they did UFC Noche, where they were like, oh, this can be, one of the biggest cards ever. And then the card came out and, the fights weren't. I mean, the fights were good, but the names, there wasn't any big name value. But I think they're gonna stack this card a little bit more, just because it's not like gonna be UFC Noche where they gotta put a bunch of Mexican fighters on the card. So anyway, I love Sean Strickland versus Izzy Adesanya. I think this is gonna be a good fight for the card, and yeah, this rematch would be fire. Next fight, we got our first championship fight. Kayla Harrison, the UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion, versus Amanda Nunes. Now, this one is a little iffy because there's been some talks recently that Amanda has not yet been back in the testing pool. Amanda Nunes has been retired since, I think it was UFC 289, I think she retired. And, obviously when you retire, you leave the testing pool, the drug testing pool. Well, if you want to come back, you got to get back in the drug testing pool, and it takes, if you guys don't know, it takes 6 months to get back into the pool. So you have to take tests for 6 months before you can fight again. So if she doesn't do that in 6 months, this fight might take longer for it to happen. But Kayla did say that she would, waive the 6 months, so that she doesn't have to wait 6 months to fight her for, a little bit of money, which, I mean, I don't think Amanda Nunes is on drugs anyway, so who really cares? But I think if this fight can happen at the White House, I think it should, because obviously Kayla is American. She saw Trump. She met with Trump after her fight at UFC 316. So, and she really wants to fight at this card. So this fight, I would love to see it happen at the White House, but most likely it probably would happen a little sooner. But you never know. It could happen there. But obviously we know this fight is going to happen. It's not like I'm matchmaking it. Like, this fight is literally officially going to happen. We just don't know when. So, yeah, UFC Bantamweight Championship, Kayla versus Nunes. This is going to be massive. And now to our net. The heck? What is that? No way! The notorious Conor McGregor is coming back at the White House. No way. Are we getting this Conor? What the come on, guys, we're not getting prime Conor back, but I think Conor versus Chandler is gonna happen. Maybe I'm delusional, maybe I'm just a delusional McGregor fan and I'm getting my hopes up again, but I really hope this fight happens. The co-main event of UFC White House, this would be so legendary to have this fight happen. Obviously Michael Chandler is a big American fighter, and Conor, was at the White House. He met with Trump and everything. I know they both really want to fight at the White House, and they are saying that Conor's back in the testing pool. I'm not 100% sure. I can't even believe any news about Conor anymore. But I can't even know if it's true. But I really think this fight could actually happen, and I think it would be so cool if it did. Yes, I use this picture of Conor. If you know, you know. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, you really can't believe anything about Conor McGregor anymore. He hasn't fought since... Obviously, Conor has not fought since July 2021, I think. And that was against Poirier when he broke his ankle or his leg or whatever. So most people thought he was never going to make a comeback. They actually had the fight booked for UFC 303 June 29th of 2024. It was this fight right here. But I mean, are they really going to ever book this fight? I don't know. I mean, Conor's so unreliable, but if they're going to do it, they should really do it at this card, because I mean, it gives Conor enough time to get back in the pool. And, you know, Michael Chandler, he just got beat down by Paddy Pimblett. Gives him time to recover. I really think this would be a perfect time to make the fight. And I'm praying it happens. Hopefully everything goes right. But this should be the co-main event of UFC White House. Obviously, it won't be for a belt or anything, but who cares? Now, on to the main event of the evening. You might call me delusional again, but we're getting Jon Jones for Tom Aspinall. Come on, please, Dana, please make the fight. I'll do anything. It would be so big. I mean, this would literally be the biggest card ever. If Conor and Jon Jones fought on the same card, it's the biggest card ever. Now, do I think this fight's gonna happen? Jon Jones seems like he really wants to fight at the White House, and he says he's back in the pool. I mean, I don't know. I guess anybody can say they're back in the pool. I guess I'm back in the testing pool now, because that's what everybody's been saying recently. But maybe, just maybe, this fight could happen. I don't know. But if it does happen, it's going to happen at this White House card, because obviously Jon Jones technically just retired. So he's going to want a little bit of break, and this gives him a perfect break. I don't think Jon Jones is scared of Tom Aspinall. I just think he really would rather not fight him. But I think if he gets offered this fight to fight at the White House, I think he would accept it. But this would be my UFC main event for UFC White House, and this would be the biggest card of all time, 100%. It sucks that there's not going to be like real UFC fans there, because, you know, obviously you can't have a bunch of drunk UFC fans at the White House. But this is my card. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate it. I also want to say that if you go to my first video, I literally predicted the whole entire Jon Jones Tom Aspinall situation. I predicted that like a couple weeks before it even happened. I just want to say that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you could like and subscribe, that would be cool. If not, whatever. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and see you guys later.